Hey cats, it's your favourite footwear friend, EDDBUD here. I got some fresh running news hot off the press. Today an exciting new update from Asics with their Metaspeed series. Two shoes in fact, the Metaspeed Sky Paris and the Edge Paris. I'm going to take a quick look at the Tokyo Marathon for you, which is this weekend, and there's a whole bunch of brand new shoe releases to discuss as well. Let's get straight into it. Thanks for joining me once again on the channel, it's always appreciated. I've got running news for you today, hot off the press. If you want to help the channel out to continue to grow, hit that subscribe button, but also give this video a thumbs up like, it really helps out. Dankeschön. A brand new update for Asics' Super Shoe series, the Metaspeed. They've unveiled the Metaspeed Sky Paris, but also the Metaspeed Edge Paris too. Quite the switch up here in terms of the midsole stack, plate positionings, and I think there's a real difference in the weight as well. Amazed to see that Asics suggests that these shoes this time are 22 grams lighter than the previous version. Now the Metaspeed Sky Plus for me is one of the lightest super shoes of that sort of year. Really form-fitting design, a very low ankle profile. In fact, my 10k record is in that shoe, the Metaspeed Sky Plus. Just seems to really allow me to open up my stride and does prevent an advantage, I think, with that slightly flatter plate there. It's almost like a trampoline for me. So more of the same here, perhaps a more breathable upper material. They're using something called motion wrap mesh. There's now a longer plate within the Metaspeed Sky Paris as well. I think that's to kind of facilitate a really bouncy toe off. I for one am extremely excited about this update. It could be a real banger. The Metaspeed Sky Plus is one of my favourite super shoes of that time. Still using it last year as well, and it was holding up really well. Now there does seem to be a new version of Flight Foam Turbo here. They've added a plus to it, which apparently means that it's even lighter and has a slightly higher energy return. All of that is a bonus. The Edge Paris is now the same stack height as the Sky, with that more familiar scooped plate in the forefoot. I think that's a more sort of rolling type feel to that shoe. It's supposed to be aimed at those who speed up their cadence in line with their pace when they're running a faster speed. I think I do fall into the Sky interpretation here rather than the Edge. I top out around about 184 to about 186 steps per minute if I'm going faster speed, although I always think that this shoe is pretty much aimed at that half or full marathon effort. So both shoes this time round, the Sky and the Edge Paris, both 39.5mm in the heel for the sample size, with about 34mm up front. So identical this time out rather than the differences that we had between the two. I think one of them was like an 8mm drop as opposed to a 5mm in the other. They're just both 5mm drops this time. Asics grip as standard on the outsole of these two. I find that stuff is some of the stickiest out there, provides some really great traction. I think it's all down to the plate placement here, whether you're going to like one or the other. The flatter plate much closer to the foot in the Sky, with the more traditionally placed close to heel position in the Edge, and then more foam underfoot in the forefoot. The black and green areas in the midsole there. The only real place you can spot the difference between the shoes, which shows off the positioning of the plate and the midsole sections. Now they're saying that both the sample sizes are coming in about 185 grams, which is bonkers really. These launch around about March the 4th, I believe, for around 220 Earth credits here in the UK. I hope to bring you a review of the Metaspeed Sky Paris, hopefully very soon, and I'll try and get out there for some 10k racing, see if it's better than the previous version. So it could be that I've got a race legal stack height shoe here that's about 214 grams in my size. I've done a few calculations trying to figure out the sort of difference between the sample size weights and of course the reduction that we're going to see in this shoe. Very excited for this update from Asics. Story 2, going to talk a little bit about the Tokyo Marathon. Young whippersnapper Kipchoge is going to be at it again this weekend for a fun jaunt around Tokyo with a few thousand other people, obviously. Tokyo Marathon, one of the biggest ones out there, and I bet he's going to have a pair of those Alphafly shoes on foot. I think this will be Kipchoge's last race before the Paris Olympics later on this year. Of course, he is the course record holder in Tokyo. I think he'll be looking to attack that time a little bit if the weather conditions are good. Does look like they might be pretty decent. 43 Fahrenheit or 6 degrees C at the start of the race. That's very average for this marathon around this time of year. I think there could be a little bit of rain at some stage later in the day. Hopefully it will remain dry early on. No wind though, and looking pretty bright, so it's all looking really good for Kipchoge. It'll be like, you know, me going out and running in the middle of the night here, really, in terms of temperature. I do often see pictures of Kipchoge, you know, in like an ice bucket or something, but I imagine where he's training, like over in Kenya, it's probably an awful lot warmer than it is here. I'm not entirely sure you'd find many runners in the UK that would want to go out and do those very hard marathon efforts and then climb into a bucket of ice. I think you never really know with the weather, but let's just hope it remains great for all the runners out there taking on Tokyo. I think Kipchoge is very much aiming for this to be like a tuning up type race, getting himself ready for Paris. I think he's opted for Tokyo rather than London to give himself much more recovery time in between. I'll be tuning in. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on that one down in the comments. Now, there's a whole bunch of shoe releases to get through here. This is just like a few. I've had to select like a few of the more recent ones. There's a whole bunch more. Maybe I'll do another running news segment next week for you with the others I didn't include. New Balance have their Fuel Cell Rebel version 4 coming on their website. There's like a countdown timer on there. 140 quid, Earth credits, sorry. I think these release around March the 1st over on New Balance. 2 different colourways. We have the Spice Blue with Limelight and Blue Oasis. And also the white with Bleached Lime Glow and Hot Mango. I'm just going to take their word for it on that one. I think the blue looks a bit better this time around, certainly more usable for UK weather conditions in all fairness. Now, this one's only 212 grams in the sample size, 7.5 ounces, can't really moan too much of that. I would assume that's going to bring it in under 250 grams in my size, which is mad. 6mm drop, and it's quite the change from the V3. That one's out very, very soon, people. You got another chance coming to give away 285 Earth credits to Nike. There's a second drop of the Alphafly 3. It's very bright, but I think Marmite-like colourway is coming out on the 7th of March here in the UK, and no doubt will sell out pretty quickly to bots and people trying to make a couple of quid on the resale sites. If you're involved with sort of sneakers, basketball shoes or whatever, you'll know that the bottom's kind of gone out of that market a little bit in terms of resale, which I think is really good, but people are still trying it on with the Alphafly 3, and I imagine that drop will go pretty quickly. It's large in stack, very soft, but not sure it's all that it's cracked up to be in terms of my testing so far. The classic Zoom X and AirPod combo with substantial cutouts in the midsole, making for a compressive but wide shoe. I think it's a little bit down to each runner as to how much of the performance enhancing aspects come through, really. I think this one will drop about 8 AM on March the 7th, so, you know, try your luck if you really want a pair. I think they also come with a special box as well, if that, you know, excites you. If that's the sort of thing, you like those unboxing videos, you'll be really into that. Men and women, there's different versions. Be aware of that on the morning of release. Do check out my review of the Alphafly 3. I'll put one of those cards up on screen, or you can see it at the very end of this video. On have released a new version of their Cloud Monster shoe. The V2 appears rather similar to the original, with some upper changes and minor modifications to perhaps enhance the fit and the ride. At 170, it's certainly up there in terms of cost, right up there with the Invincible run and things like that. I found it to be a firmer, denser ride in the first version, perhaps a little too guided from the speed board below the foot. Though there's loads of people out there that seem to really love the Cloud Monster, I think there's some better on shoes out there, including the On Cloud Eclipse. That's a real banger. That's dropped pretty much everywhere at the moment, that shoe, so if you're on the lookout, you should find it at the typical places like sports shoes and stuff like that. Quick look at 2 other releases from Adidas here. There's the Supernova Stride, with a 4-foot section of their Dream Strike Plus foam. Then there's the Supernova Solution, which is mainly Dream Strike Plus and has some stability elements added in. I think there's only a minor weight difference between the Supernova Rise and that Supernova Solution 2. The Stride seems to be a nice low cost option, though with a traditional EVA carrier in the midsole. versus the slightly more expensive Supernova solution. Not a whole lot of news about those shoes really, they just kind of put them out there without talking about them whatsoever. There's a lot of releases over the last few weeks. I can't believe really January and February have just been bonkers if you think about it. We've had the Faststar Nitro Elite 2, the Endorphin Pro 4, we've had the Speed 4 as well, not forgetting the Hoka as well, CeeLo X1. It's been chaos really. So many shoes all at the same time. Just got to try and get the miles in. Thankfully I bought myself a treadmill to try and get a few more extra miles in here and there. It's not easy like when you're a husband and a dad and you work a full-time job too. I will bring you some more shoe releases in the next sort of week or so, try and cover some of the others. Such a barren period as well during November and December, and now we seem to have loads and loads. Hope you enjoyed the news today. If there's any cool stories that you've spotted, let me know on the email in the description of this video. Quick musical interlude for you. I love songs that kind of take you back to your youth. Remember how exciting it was when you used to hear the Ice Cream Man on his way. I think my son's kind of getting into that too. He asked me about the Ice Cream Man, is there a song? And I said, yes there is. Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers. I love Ice Cream Man. It literally has that simple melody, takes you back to those hot summer afternoons when you hear the Ice Cream Man on the way. The excitement. Will the Ice Cream Man have your favourites there? Is it going to be like a 99p with a flake, or maybe a Zoom ice lolly as well? I used to particularly like those, or a Fab as well. Oh yeah, it's quite cold in the studio now, but I would not hesitate if someone came in and offered me a Fab ice lolly. It will be consumed very quickly as well. Simple instrumentation on this one, like a semi-acoustic guitar, maybe not even amplified. It just sounds like the acoustic nature of the guitar, a little bit of percussion, some backing vocals. Wonderful stuff. It really makes you feel like you're young again. Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers with Ice Cream Man. Thanks for tuning in people, it is always appreciated. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. My name's EDDBUD and I'll be seeing you